God chose Aaron and his sons to serve as priests and instructed Moses to make sacred garments for them to give them dignity and honor in their service before the Lord. Every piece of clothing, from the ephod and breastpiece to the robe, turban, and sash, was made with care, beauty, and meaning, showing that worshipping God requires reverence and holiness. The breastpiece carried the names of the 12 tribes over Aaron's heart, reminding the people that their priest stood before God on their behalf, while the gold plate on his forehead read "Holy to the Lord," showing total dedication to God. For Christians, this chapter points forward to Jesus Christ as our perfect high priest who carries us before God and makes us acceptable in his presence. It also reminds us that God calls his people to live holy lives, honoring him not only with outward actions, but with hearts fully devoted to his service. God commanded Moses to consecrate Aaron and his sons as priests through washing, dressing them in sacred garments, anointing them with oil, and offering sacrifices to make atonement for them and the altar. These detailed rituals showed that serving God required holiness, obedience, and cleansing from sin. The daily sacrifices and the continual burnt offerings taught the people that fellowship with God depended on ongoing devotion and atonement. God promised that through this consecration he would dwell among the Israelites and be their God, revealing his desire to live in close relationship with his people. For Christians, this chapter points forward to Jesus Christ, whose perfect sacrifice cleanses us once and for all and makes us holy before God. It also reminds us that our lives are to be set apart for God, lived in obedience, gratitude, and continual devotion to his presence. God gave instructions for sacred items used in worship, including the altar of incense, the anointing oil, and the pure incense, and how these were to be used to consecrate the priests and the tabernacle for holy service. The burning of incense symbolized continual prayer rising before God, while the anointing oil showed that the priests and sacred objects were set apart for God's purposes. God also emphasized that these holy elements were not to be copied or used for ordinary purposes, showing the seriousness of honoring what belongs to him. For Christians, this chapter reminds us that worship involves prayer, holiness, and devotion, and that our lives are to be set apart for God. It also points to the truth that God desires ongoing fellowship with his people and calls us to approach him with reverence, purity, and hearts dedicated to his service.
We give thanks with a grateful heart. Give thanks to the Holy One. Give thanks because he's given